Hello everybody, and welcome to the Online Sociologist. My name is Ryan. This is the first part in a two-part video series where I'm going to work in retelling one of the first sociology lectures that was ever given to me by my professor and mentor, Professor Thomas Lambert. The title of the lecture is The Seven Realities. Professor Lambert sees the sociologist as someone who is marginal or on the boundaries of society. Now, due to the social positioning, sociologists don't fully subscribe to the social customs or norms of that society, and they're more able to see the hidden social constructedness of that society's everyday existence. In other words, these sociologists see society for what it is, a self-delusional, meaning-making apparatus meant to shield or delude individuals from the harsh reality of their existence. In this video, I'm going to go over what Professor Lambert meant by these seven realities. I must warn you, these realities are depressing, and they're very contentious to some, as they either validate what we've already suspected about the universe, or they strike at the heart of many of our core beliefs, values, and identities. That said, let's move on. Reality number one, human beings are insignificant. The insignificance of human beings can be shown in many ways. First, we can imagine the insignificance of individuals in comparison to the 7.7 billion people in the world. Visualizing the extent of that 7.7 billion number is extremely difficult. One way you could think of it is through the passage of time. For example, it would take someone 95.1 years to count to 1 billion. Now times that by 7. Another way to visualize it is to visit the website 7billionworld.com, where they visually show 7 billion people on one page. Once visualized, however, note that you are but one of those 7.7 billion people. One's life and death matter very little to the ongoing operations of larger society. For example, if I died today, while many people might be sad, my job would hire someone as soon as possible to replace me. And while some might remember my overall work and any impact I had, most, if not all of that influence would be lost and forgotten within 50 years of my passing. However, it's not just the individual in relation to the society's population that's insignificant, but the insignificance of human beings as a whole in relationship to the larger universe. So let's pivot to an astronomical point of view. In the famed scientist Carl Sagan's cosmic calendar, that visualizes the entire history of the universe in a one-year span, it isn't until the final day, December 31st, that modern humans develop. And it isn't until the final minute of that day that we see the emergence of the entire record of human history as we know it. This includes a span of time from the cave paintings in Lascaux in the south of France, created approximately in 17,000 BCE, until the present. In sticking with Carl Sagan, I want to focus on this notion of insignificance in one more way, which is through Sagan's analysis of the image shot back to Earth by Voyager 1 on February 14, 1990, that showcases the Earth from a distance of 4 billion miles away. Sagan notes in his book, The Pale Blue Dot, the following: "Look again at that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you've ever heard of, every human being who has ever lived out their lives, the aggregate of our joy and suffering, thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines, every hunter and forager, every hero or coward, every creator and destroyer of civilizations, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there, on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam." Reality number two. Human beings are cosmic orphans. In other words, we don't know where we came from, nor do we know our true place in the larger universe. In sticking with the field of astronomy, if we look at our solar system, our sun makes up one of approximately 400 billion stars in the Milky Way galaxy. More than that, astronomers estimate that there are more than 170 billion galaxies in the universe, each of which holding hundreds of billions of stars. By calculating what we know, astronomers estimate that our universe contains 1 septillion stars. That is 1 with 24 zeros after it. This says nothing about the number of planets orbiting each of these stars. Furthermore, this number grows larger with every discovery astronomers make. In all, we are part of an ever-expanding plane of reality in which we don't know our role in, or even if we have a role to play. We don't truly know where we came from or where we're going. Reality number 3, human beings are biological accidents. To understand this more, we shift our frame of reference from the astronomer's viewpoint to the point of view of the biologist. Evolution is a complex theory with multiple parts. However, simply put, it can be defined as a transformation in the heritable characteristics of populations over generations. Such characteristics were shaped not only internally to the species, but how well they were suited to adapt to surrounding conditions. Those with characteristics not suited to survive died out along with their genetic makeup. In the evolution of humans, there was no rhyme or reason, only that our ancestors, in interaction with their environment and each other, became suited to survive in certain conditions. It was chance. Another way to look at this is through human intercourse and the fertilization of a human egg by a sperm. The average male can release 40 million to 1.2 billion sperm in a single ejaculation. Studies have shown that both the amount of sperm and eggs produced have a wide range of genetic diversity. So, even if you were a planned child, which statistically speaking, only half of pregnancies are planned, there is still much uncertainty and chance as to how you were biologically formed and developed. Reality number 4. Human beings lack instinct. This is usually the most contentious of the realities, as there is confusion if instincts are simply spontaneous impulses, involuntary motions, behaviors, or all of those combined. Some tie this notion to the fact that human beings are endowed with a sort of human nature, or, in other words, internal dispositions and characteristics shaping how we think, feel, and act in certain contexts. There is a long-standing debate not only with sociology as to the nature of instincts or human nature, but other social sciences as well. Such debates are usually contextualized within the notion of human development as nature or nurture. While sociologists don't fully discount the role of biology in human development and interaction, they do argue that behavior is something that is learned through social interaction, and it's extremely diverse over time and space. More than that, what we think of as natural is largely influenced by social factors. For example, sociologists have argued that phenomenon as diverse as obesity, addiction, beauty, and intelligence are all structured through social contexts. More than that, while some people might argue that self-preservation is an instinct, others have shown in dangerous situations a diversity of reactions can take place, such as fight, flight, or freeze. In addition, if social preservation is in fact instinctual, how would we explain the 47,000 Americans who commit suicide every year? Reality number 5. Human beings are born meaningless. This builds on the previous reality. Without instincts, we are born without a sense of an end, a purpose, significance, or overall meaning in our lives. Unlike, say, a wolf whose instinctual behaviors is tied up not only in terms of individual survival, but through the survival of the pack, humans, when born, possess none of this. Meanings must be endowed in them. Reality number 6. Human beings are lonely and incomplete. Building on the previous 2 realities, without instinct or meanings, human beings tend to develop as both lonely and incomplete. Like meaning, they must find ways to feel integrated and fulfilled. That said, while some societies throughout history have striven to provide this and how they are organized, other societies have not. Those societies that haven't can see greater rates of despondency, depression, and overall happiness in their populations. Reality number 7. Human beings are symbol-shifted magicians. So, how do we create this meaning, this purpose, this fulfillment, as well as the overall social interaction that develops into groups, organizations, and societies? Well, the answer is by creating and shifting symbols. A symbol can be defined as something used to represent something else. Two pieces of wood, one vertical and one horizontal, can be nailed together and come to represent a cross, thus an important symbol to the Christian religion. While the use of dye, cloth, and patterns can be utilized to construct a country's flag and the national culture that it represents. Symbols aren't only material items, though. Symbols can be defined as verbal and nonverbal forms of communication, such as language, tone of voice, and body movements. It can be the alphabet, numbers, and even emojis. As humans have developed, we have worked in building symbolic inventories that we utilize and shift as ways to not only increase and systematize our social interactions, but build safeguards to shield us from the harshness of the previous 6 realities. So, there they are, the 7 realities. In the next video, we are going to get more concrete and focus on how specific groups utilize reality number 7 to create social constructions that leads to the development of specific types of social interactions, behaviors, beliefs, norms, practices, groups, organizations, and institutions that are used to protect and shield us from the previous 6 realities. More than that, we will ask the question as to what happens when all of this breaks down, tearing the veneer of that constructed existence, thus exposing us to that bleak existence. I want to thank you all for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content related to the world of sociology and how it can be used not only in the classroom, but in your everyday lives. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.